the things when your back's against the wall, you goal line stands and, Hail Marys into the end zone, a 2-minute drill to go 75 yards with no timeouts, the forced interceptions, to start the game. And they come out and they block a punt. And just, I love watching, young people respond and to believe. And our guys have an unshakable belief. I know that.
Stevie Lee, the day after the 119th Red River Rivalry, we're all back in Austin or in the Austin area, safe and sound. And I hope everyone else, wherever they came from the stretches of Oklahoma to South Texas, Louisiana, wherever, that they're all back home safely, because I-35 was a traditional mess the day after. You left early. Before we dive into this, it's kind of a dark day for Longhorn Nation from a loss perspective, that is, of losing that great game. Give a shout out to Hargrove Roofing, man. They have done nothing but great supporters of you and I in this pass rush with Stevie Lee journey. And, you are more than qualified to say anything you want about Hargrove Roofing, including that lovely slogan.
Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof.
And that is a fact. And I know that they are probably pretty quiet today. They and their entire staff, supporters of Texas Longhorn football, LSU, all the greats, but they are deeply invested in UT football. Stevie, before we get going, I've got to ask you just a brief summary of how do you, without going into every aspect of the game, but your feelings leaving the Cotton Bowl Stadium yesterday.
It's a rivalry game, man, and everything's a toss-up in a rivalry game. So it was a good game. It was fun. I had a really good time just being there. I think I told you guys I haven't been there in 15, 16 years.
Is that right? I did not know. Well, you did mention that.
Yeah. And so that was my first time going back, and now I understand why I haven't gone. It's just so crowded, man. I ran into so many people, so many good people. Old friends, old teammates, people part of the T Association. So I ran into a lot of people. That was a lot of fun. But man, it was crowded out there. But it was fun. We know what we need to get better at. We know what we need to change. We got some injury things that we're going to talk about. But technically, all of our goals are still on the table.
Yeah, just one loss. It's one big loss. It's a gut punch to both fan bases, whoever loses this game. But you and I both know that historically, the loser of this game has gone on to finish with tremendous seasons a lot of times. And same with the winner of the, it's the winner of the game doesn't guarantee a championship. But back when your playing days, whoever won that game between 98 and 2006 or 7, the winner of that game usually played for some type of championship. But I think now, just for Texas fans' sake, really focus on each week, because in this game, I know the season is far from over, but let's dive into it, man. I got to show the video first. Texas went up, had the field goal, went up 30-27. Dillon Gabriel, who did not play in this game last year because of an injury, led OU down, marched right down the field with, I believe, it was a lot less than 2 minutes to go. I want to say 1:45 to go. And this is how it all culminated with this. And really with no time for Texas to come back. I was on the opposite side, lower level of, the lower upper deck, lower portion of the upper deck. From your vantage point, what did you see? Because I saw a blown coverage.
Yeah, I saw blown coverage too. I think we were peeking around a little bit too much, trying to do too much and not just do your job, Yeah. And you gotta stay true to what your job is, and that's it. Stop looking in the backfield, but we had to, because if he didn't see what was in front of him, if what's his name, Dillon didn't see what was in front of him, he just took off and ran. So we had to kind of keep a spy on him and cover in the in coverage. So it was a hard way to play. The way he played that last drive, it was hard to adjust our defense on the fly like that with under 2 minutes. So he did what he did, man. He did what he had to do, and he did it. He knew what he had to do, and he did it. So that's tough. It was a tough loss in the end.
Yeah, that's a tough way to lose, but it has happened a lot. Dicker the kicker, 2018, Sam Ellinger back and forth in that 2020 game in front of like 18,000 people because of COVID. But, Sark was asked after the game about that last possession. And Bert Auburn, who is a NIL partner of Hargrove Roofing, he had a great game, 2 great big field goals, and he made the field goal that gave the Longhorns the lead very late with little time to go. And this is what Sark talked about, and that go-ahead game-winning touchdown for Oklahoma.
The momentum swung that quickly. They were in their crowd area and the things of that nature. So that was unfortunate because we had the momentum. It was a difficult deal. To go back to Quinn's question, because it's kind of not fair to ask him that when he's not calling it and he's on the field. So we were trying to go score. We were trying to make sure we had the last possession.
All right, we'll get to that. That especially the series down the goal line, but OU played great defense, and all of a sudden you walk away from that game and from experience there's always one guy who becomes a legend from the Red River Rivalry, and Dillon Gabriel. He will forever, just like Dicker the kicker and so many other Longhorns, but Dillon Gabriel is a Red River Rivalry legend. I mean, look at the numbers here. 285 yards passing and a passing touchdown, 113 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. I mean, I'm reliving all that in my head. Dillon was all over the field making plays and timely plays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, man. It was almost like we didn't trust the film that he actually can play ball, I don't know if we game plan to stop something else, and I don't know what happened, but he had a hell of a game, and it was almost that we got caught flat-footed game plan wise.
Yeah,
if I can say that,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where the way it felt to me. It was the game plan that was a little bit lacking for me, because the kids still played hard. I think the kids still play hard. They still look good. Too. Yeah, they still look good. I don't think that they were tired. We had a couple of injuries, but I don't think that they were tired. The O-line did not play well because of confusion, I believe. They were throwing some different blitzes at us. And when our center went down, Jake, you throwing somebody else in there that hadn't played a ton, and then that's the rivalry game, and so that's a heightened situation for someone new to come in the game. So it all kind of came to a head with the game plan being off a little bit. The rivalry game and us trying to do some new little cute things, which I don't like to do in big time games like that,
Right. Well, yeah. I think Jalen Ford may agree with you. He didn't say it directly, but he was asked about Dillon Gabriel, and to your point, that the Longhorn defense did play hard, physical.
Mm-hmm.
But this game is different, and I want people who are watching this, it's different for both sides. it's not like your traditional home game.
No.
It's not your traditional road game. I mean, if you want my opinion, Texas plays much better on the road. This provides a lot of different elements. And this was Jalen Ford, the great Texas linebacker on Dillon Gabriel.
You know, if his reads weren't there, able to use his legs and then find somebody open, I think he did a good job of that, especially going down there. You know, towards the end of the game, he was able to extend the play with his legs, and he just made good plays.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all.
No.
Not wrong at all. And I'll say this: Texas did not help help matters when you're settling for field goals or turning the ball over. I mean, we'll get to Quinn here shortly, but, you know, OU's defense sacked Quinn 5 times.
And what do we have, 3 turnovers or 2?
3 turnovers total.
3 turnovers total.
Yeah, 2 interceptions by Quinn, and he fumbled it. And, well, I think there was that pass to Chavian, who was also far from 100%.
Yeah.
And the incompletion, and it's just there's a number of things.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal line stand we're referencing, I thought, was the turning point in the game, even though Texas was able to take that lead late. This is the series of play calls. It's about 30 seconds edited, that the play calls at Texas, I don't see a problem with it, because if you look at it, the Texas run game produced, but Jay Brooks had another great game, 22 carries, 129 yards rushing, and a touchdown. He could not get a crease on this series of downs right here.
In the backfield, and they hand it off to Brooks. Behind position, it's Murphy in front of Brooks, takes the pitch, and they're trying to push the Brooks again. And again, they've got him behind the line. Oh, pocket 4. They're going to throw for it. Worthy! Stop short. 4 plays from the 1. They can't get in. Unbelievable. OU protecting a 7-point lead.
Watch if you're a Longhorn fan. If you're an OU fan, you're like, man, our defense is back.
Dude, that I've been a part of a defense that stopped someone on the goal line like that, and that's the best feeling in the world. And you can see it on my face right now. That was 25 years ago, and I'm still smiling about that. So that's hats off to them. You know, they did it, but that's huge for a defense to stop a team. One of the top offensive gurus in the country with some of the best offensive linemen in the country. Yeah. And for you to go out there and stop them 4 times on the goal line, that puts all kinds of confidence in these kids and those kids over there. And so that was huge. And they probably right then knew that they were going to win the game. No matter what.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, because that's a huge turning point. Momentum, confidence, we can do this, and coupled with them still knowing what we did to them last year.
Yeah, and I'm sure the young lady up top who tweeted this represents everyone who is a member of Longhorn Nation. Yeah. Woke up thinking about the 4 times we didn't score on the 1 with a teardrop. You know, and Joe Cook, he covers the Longhorns for a digital platform, does a great job. This is a quote from Steve Sarkisian post-game. It's always difficult when you lose your center, as you mentioned, Jake Majors, as early as we did. And I commend Connor Robertson, the young guy, for stepping in. First time he's in real action like that. I mean, that's indoctrinating a guy and causing him to grow up real fast. It's not an indication of how talented he is or what he lacks. You know as well as I do, Stevie, you played on the defensive line at a high level and for Texas. You practice goal line. That's the old Oklahoma drill right there.
Yeah.
Where good on good, and you be as physical as you can and you pummel guys.
Yeah.
And that's new. That's like fresh meat for you. If you're a defensive lineman and you see a young center.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're exactly right. Getting a new person in there who, he's not the starter, and he's not the starter for a reason. And he comes in, and you're like, all right, I got him now. They're down to their third string guy, and you go a little bit harder, and then in that goal line stance, man. I had a whole technique in the goal line. I'm submarining. The low man always win, so I'm submarining, but I'm still pushing my feet. I'm moving my feet. My feet does not move, does not stay still. They just keep pumping your feet, and that's exactly what they did. They got across 2 yard, about a yard and a half, on the other side of the line of scrimmage. That's how we stopped those plays. Yeah. Yep. So,
I mean, I saw great effort on the UT offensive line. That second down, they almost got in by pushing Jay Brooks into the end zone. Almost did. I do think they score a touchdown there. It changes the direction of the game.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. Yeah, we needed that score. We also needed that first down before we kicked the field goal. Really needed that first down. A lot of things could have happened and would have changed this whole game. We talked about it a little bit, but when they ran the clock and we went ahead and snapped the ball, so I think about little things like that because, whenever we talk about that, I have an opinion on that. So
yeah. Well, I was looking for people. I saw this, came across this tweet. We don't follow each other, but I thought it summed it up. It really did. It summed up the game to a T. And I get the impression this young man is a UT graduate. He is a media member, it looks like, in the state of Nebraska. Knows his football, apparently, and it looks like it. So I'm going to remove this. Joe Scanlon. This sums it up, man. This is it. 3 turnovers, 9 penalties, and that is very uncharacteristic for Steve Sarkisian's Longhorns, that many penalties. And if for 70 yards in that game, it literally is a game of inches in the Red River Rivalry, and that cliche holds true. A terrible excuse for football on the 1 yard line. I get it. You're in the Longhorn end of the stadium, and awful game management. And Quinn's numbers, he was 31 of 37, Stevie. 346 yards passing, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. And Jay Witt and Xavier Worthy combined for 18 receptions for 223 yards. Listen, I'm trying not to pour on Quinn, but 31 of 37, it didn't feel that way. And I'm not taking anything away from his game that he had, but it was game management or execution, don't you think?
Yeah, but Quinn had a good game, and it really comes down to the bottom line of rivalry games are a toss-up like this.
Right.
That Red River Rivalry is a toss-up every year because that's pretty damn good. We'll take that.
Freaking damn good.
Yeah. We'll take that every game, and so the 9 penalties that's mental, but also I know everyone's talking about it and it's cliche now and it's dumb, but these referees were terrible.
They were
terrible.
Garbage.
There was one play where the OU tight end, I think, came across the middle and he dropped the ball, and they called it a catch. I am 20 rows up in the stands, and I saw him drop the ball. They spotted the ball, ready to run the play, and at the last second, from up top, they stopped the play and looked at it over on the replay. I saw it. You're down. These referees are down on the field, see the ball hit the ground, and they spotted it as a catch.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous to me. And then there was a pass interference that should have been called on the Texas sideline. One of my other things was, they didn't call the pass interference. I didn't see not one coach go and get into a referee's face and lobby for that call. You're not going to get it right there, but you might get it later, or you might get away with one later. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and say it. All right. So this is my thought. When I played college football, most of the coaches back then were just head coaches.
Yeah.
And they managed the game. They did not call plays. Most of them. Well, I don't know. I don't know the statistics, so I wouldn't say most of them, but a lot of them didn't. My head coach managed the game, managed the clock, managed the timeouts, managed the game plan and everything like that. I think I want to get back to that. I want Shark to run our offense for sure, but I need someone to be the head game manager, the person that goes out there and say, hey, Quinn, don't snap the ball until it's 2 seconds left on the play clock. Because Shark can't do that because he's thinking about the next 3 plays and what he's going to call. He's not even thinking about, oh, there was an injury on the field. When they put the ball down and set the ball and run, they're going to run the clock. He didn't even think about that, right? He's got too much stuff on his plate. This is just my opinion, and I don't know if other people think that way, but when the referees are not getting us the interference call that we should have, Shark has to call another play in front of him instead of getting down there into that ref's face and say, you missed that call. That is a pass interference. Like I said, we're not going to get that call after he get in his face, but that guy's going to think twice the next time this happened.
Correct.
Either think twice then or give us a call the next time. He's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Shark was right. That was close. And this right here is kind of close. And there it is. We're good now, And it sucks that it has to be that way, but someone has to lobby. And that's just part of the game. I can go on and on about, even basketball players when a lot of people say basketball players whine on a court, they're actually not whining on a court. They're actually playing the game within the game, lobbying for a call. You're not going to get it this time, but, lobbying enough, you're going to get it the next time. And no one's doing that on the sideline.
It's bringing awareness too.
Bringing awareness to it. Yes. Yeah. That's probably a better way of putting it.
Yeah. Well, Quinn Ewers was asked about. Listen, I'm going to give all props to Brent Venable's defense. That's his specialty. That defense was prepared, and they were very active. There was no hesitation in what they were doing. They played. They played, and then he was asked about what he saw. What did OU do, especially on the goal line throughout the game? First 2 possessions were interceptions. And that one where he threw that quick slant, OU was waiting for it. They knew. This is what Quinn had to say about that.
They started throwing, some different looks at us and trying to confuse us, but just proud of the way we stayed and fought.
Yeah. Didn't say a whole lot. Obviously they were confusing him.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't say a whole lot, but he said a lot right there. He was basically he said, yeah, I got confused a little bit. They were throwing different looks at me. And so that's something we got to work on. You got to recognize defenses a little bit better. But sit back in that clock a little bit longer, or the play clock a little bit longer, and try to figure it out. There's no rush. There's no rush. Just figure it out, go through the reads in your head, and then execute.
He's
Go ahead.
Quinn is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's still growing in other areas like this. A game like that, we all hear it. You experience more growth in your losses or setbacks than you will through victories. I mean, we're not going to use the excuse of how young he is. We're not going to use the excuse of this is his second full season. I'm not even going to bring that up. I just said it. But the fact is, there's a lot he still has to learn at this level. I mean, Oklahoma threw the kitchen at him, I thought.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, they did.
And the season's not over. But currently, as of right now, Stevie, this is where I think it represents stories inside the man cave, the weekly Power 10 and the 4 on the outside. This is what I think it looks like across the country right now. This is as far as through all the games that we've seen in the small sample set, the quality opponents, injuries, margin of victory, losses, what those losses look like. This is what I think it is. I think Texas falls all the way to 9. I think OU leapfrogs them into the 10, just one spot. Alabama's back in the 10. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Washington, Penn State. A lot can argue that Penn State hasn't played anybody. I think Washington passed the eye test, and so does Georgia. They dominated Mark Stoops in Kentucky. But can you argue that maybe Michigan is potentially the top team in the country right now?
Yes. We can. Although Georgia played well this week, and Kentucky was ranked, 20th?
Yeah.
So, but they played very, very well against them. They put up 31 points in the first half. So, but Michigan has dominated just about everybody they played, you know. So there's an argument right there. You can flip 1 and 2.
Yeah. Still not sold on Florida State yet.
You're not.
No. They're good.
They are good. And that was a good win they got against LSU earlier this year, right?
But how good is LSU?
They beat Arkansas.
A struggling Arkansas.
That's a rivalry game.
Yeah, it is the boot.
Yeah, man.
You know, people are arguing with me on Twitter, and I get it. They made valid points about the first 5. They're saying that so a win over what was then a number 2 or number 3 Texas team doesn't mean as much. No, it means enough that OU is now in the 10. OU played a garbage non-conference schedule. That's not their fault. That's who was on the schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. How can you judge an OU team by who they played? They just didn't play. Now I think they've got our attention.
Yeah.
But I want to see how OU responds next week or this game after.
Yeah, I believe in my hearts of hearts that their whole offseason workout was geared around what we did to them last year.
49-0, yes.
49-0. They were motivated for this game. There's nothing else on their schedule that was bigger than this game that they just played.
Yeah.
And they almost lost it. So they put a lot of energy into our game, and it was almost for nothing. And let's see what kind of energy they got for the next games coming up here soon.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
And,
so you're right. Let's see what happens next week. They may be riding off that high, and they spent a lot of time to beat Sarkisian and the Longhorns to where they don't know where they're going to go next.
Well, I think a bye week is perfect for Texas right now, and then they go to Houston.
That's fun. It's always fun to go to Houston.
No, go to Houston, but I tell every Texas fan or any fan base, tap the brakes. Tap the brake. Because over the next 3 games, you've got 3 road games. Houston, at TCU, Iowa State.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got
and
BYU.
then we come back home with BYU, and BYU's not – they always had our number for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, well, Yeah, in a major way. Thank God Taysom Hill doesn't play for him anymore. But listen, if you were to ask a general Texas fan, I think you would take 5-1 after the first 6 games before the season started.
A general Texas fan, yes. Not me.
Yeah. Well,
not me. I was totally sold on running the table this year.
Well, I was hoping for it, but now that what we've seen.
Yeah.
You know?
If I was a betting man, I would have put money on it.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that 100%. Hey, look who is in that top on the floor on the outside. Coach Brown and Mac Brown.
Coach Mac Brown, man. Rooting for him.
I am too. And Louisville, huge win, undefeated. I dropped USC down out of the 10 because they struggled at Arizona.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of a rivalry game with them too?
Not to my knowledge. USC and Arizona?
Yeah, I thought that they had some pretty good battles here lately. In the last 10 years. But yeah, man, they are really good.
They are.
They can be really good, but their defense is not very good.
Defense is average at best, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Lincoln needs another recruiting class for that defense to get better.
Right.
But hats off to Oklahoma. They have put Lincoln Riley behind them, and I'm not going to use that term back, but they're back the way their OU defenses used to play. Mm-hmm. It was good to see that as far as the health of college football, and it was another great Texas OU Red River rivalry. And after we hear from Stevie and his acting with Hargrove Roofing, we're going to talk about the experience that was on the state fairgrounds, which is always good, and spending lots of money on coupons just to buy wax cup beers and a few items that really aren't heart healthy. We'll see you on the other side.
Here at Hargrove Roofing, we try to think outside the box to kind of get the creative juices flowing. So I brought in my friend Stevie Lee, former defensive tackle for the Texas Longhorns. He's going to help the team strategize, really motivate them, light a fire.
This guy's going to block down. This guy's going to block down. You put your butt into the guard, and that way my Mike linebacker gets free to do what?
Not only are they going to learn a thing or two, but they're going to also leave with a great attitude and a bunch of smiles on their faces.
I'm sorry, what does this have to do with roofing exactly?
Get out.
Right now.
I said get out.
For me, that's what it's all about. It's just having fun, making our employees have a great time. Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
I heard that a lot when I was in Oklahoma City for 6 years, but that is one song. It is a tradition of college sports. But even on the fairgrounds, I was tired of hearing it.
There's only 2 words, right?
Sooner born, sooner bred, and when I die, I'll be sooner dead. That's part of it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. Never knew that. Well, they earned the right to play it. They beat us.
They did.
Yeah.
Hey, to all our faithful, our following in Oklahoma, and we do have them. Follow this podcast every week. Hey, much congratulations. The University of Oklahoma and all your loyal fans and those who are friends of ours, man. Enjoy it for the next 364 days.
Yep.
Bragging rights, baby. That you now have one.
They may get a chance to enjoy it for the next month because a month and a half.
Could be Big 12 championship.
Big 12 championship game, and they know they can't beat us twice. They know that.
Well, 2018, Texas beat them, Dicker the kicker, and OU avenged it in the Big 12 championship game. But
Yeah.
here's what I'm telling a lot of people, Stevie. First of all, Texas has got to find a way to put this behind them and can grow and just let it go and just get better, continue to get better. But OU has to find a way to get there too.
Yeah.
Because if OU loses 2 games and people laugh when I say that, who's going to beat them? Well, you know what? There's a good handful of teams in this conference. All they need is one good night.
Yep.
That's it. The same goes for Texas.
Yeah.
State Fairgrounds. You got to hang out with our girl Tess and a lot of people. What is your experience at the State Fairgrounds? What did you enjoy the most this year?
Hanging out with everyone. I did not like the crowd, man. We were shoulder to shoulder. If you are one of those people that don't like touching people, this is not your place,
No.
And trying to get into the stadium, those poor stadium workers trying to scan every single ticket to get in. It was rough. What is that? Funnel cake cream.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of creamy shots or shots, period.
Yeah.
That's myself, Brian Mays, and the lovely better half of former Texas kicker Billy Schott, who is the TV timeout guy.
Okay. That's
his wife, Cindy. They all meet at the dock every year. They don't go into the game, but they go to the dock, and it's right there.
Yeah.
Found out it is Fernie's funnel cake cream. Highly recommend it. It's very good. Not as sweet as you think, but sweet enough.
Gotcha. I enjoyed being there.
Yeah.
I didn't eat. I had a Fletcher's funnel cake.
Of course you did.
Or a Fletcher's
corn dog,
and it was delicious. And that was it, man. But I enjoyed seeing it again, being in the atmosphere again.
Yes.
And I think I don't want to go back, but I think I need to take my kids next year.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And there it is.
Yeah. That's as American as apple pie.
That is a fine American thing right there. A Fletcher's corn dog and a wax cup beer.
Yep. If it's not American, it's definitely Texan.
Man. The Cotton Bowl.
The Cotton Bowl.
Great place for a college tackle football college game.
Yeah, the atmosphere is unreal, man. It's unmatched. It's I think a rivalry game split 50-50 down the middle, and you meet there every year. It's like no other. And like I told you last week, we're leaving the Big 12, and the SEC should be really happy to get this game.
I got to go to TikTok and in the man cave, and I got to get your take on this. We all humans can kind of relate to this. This is a horny hyena.
Hey, man. It bees like that sometimes, man.
It does.
Hey, man.
Roll over, go to sleep.
Go to sleep, man. That's all you can do, man. Just don't say anything.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
You've been dominated.
Dominated. And it remains undefeated.
Undefeated.
Number 1 in the country.
Yep, absolutely. Every year. Preseason and postseason.
And it is scattered with all Americans all over its roster.
Yeah, no question.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
We just told something good. We just saw it.
Yeah.
Tell me something great, Stevie Lee.
If you keeping it Texas football, we got a bye week, right? And right now it's get kids healthy, check in on the second half of the season, and everything's going to be A-okay because, this bye week going to give the coaches a chance to evaluate themselves, evaluate some kids, and just keep moving forward and keep building.
Yeah.
The other thing is, man, here in Austin, man, it's cool now. Everything is cooling off. We're having a really, really good time in Austin. ACL is here. The buzz around town is great. Enjoy yourself. Go get in the great outdoors. It's a good time of the year right now. We got good football. We got great weather. The sun is out. Enjoy yourself. Go get some sun on that skin, man.
Whew, I got a little bit yesterday. I got a little extra melanin.
There you go. There you go.
To your point, man, I'm going to be honest. We parked. Should I give away my parking secret for the Cotton Bowl?
Go for it.
Madison High School off MLK. Park right there. 10-minute walk.
It's a 10-minute walk? Yeah.
To the fairgrounds.
So I bit the bullet. I'd rather sit in the car than do all that walking because I'm going to be doing a lot of walking in the fairground. I got very close to the gate, and I paid $40. It's just $40 that I'm going to pay for. And I walked right into the gate, walked right out, got back in my truck. And, by the end of the day, you really, really want to get to your car and sit down.
Yep.
And so I paid so I can hurry up and get to my car, sit down. I was in traffic because I was so close, but I'd rather be sitting down in traffic than walking all that way after I have walked and stood up the whole entire game. So
what
give and take,
Well, we pay too. That's the spot where we pay. So
okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't reveal the location.
I didn't. It was by gate 2. Gate 2 on the corner on Stonewall. I took a picture of the corner because I don't know my way around there. Like I said, I hadn't been there in 15 years. I think it's the corner of Stonewall and Cornell.
Okay.
Yep. No, Carroll. Stonewall and Carroll.
Yeah.
On the corner of Stonewall and Carroll. And I said, hey, how do I get into the fair? Because I could see the Ferris wheel and things.
Right.
But I didn't know which way to get in. He says, you go over here, cross the street, and that's gate 2 right there. Yeah.
There you go.
Just cross the street and walk the half a block.
Attaboy.
Yep.
That's an all-American move right there.
I'm a veteran, man.
Man, I thought it's the second or third year. Last year we got took. We had to go to a second. Yeah, we paid somebody who we thought was parking tenant. It was not. It was a local. He took off running. So we were out $80.
I don't mean to laugh, man.
No, it's funny now.
He's like, all right, here you go. Spew.
And it was in the parking lot of a public library.
Oh, yep.
He gone.
Yep.
To all fans, if your team was, especially Texas fans, don't let this deter you from going to the stadium or going to Houston the 21st and back to get your tickets now, because I think between Stevie and I, we got a good beat on this team. Unless something just awful happens in the locker room, this team's going to get right back on track, and more than likely, they may lose one more, but more than likely they're going to end up in Arlington to play for the Big 12 championships.
Yeah,
and a playoff spot. No doubt. Yeah. Don't give up on them.
I'm thinking the same thing, man. It's everything is still in front of us. Just keep playing, put your head down, and play football one down at a time, and we'll be fine.
So, Stevie, it's been fun, man. I'm glad we made it back, and I'm glad to see everybody else has too. If you're watching this, man, give us a shout. Follow Stevie, follow myself, and follow our stories inside the Man Cave social media platforms: Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere.
Instagram
is a good one. A lot of random things are posted and some fun things for you to participate in. Much love to Hargrove Roofing. And for the OG Man Cave boys, that being Hardball Hard's Big Mike and Coach Mo, and the pride of Shreveport, Stevie Lee, what do we tell them, Stevie?
We out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Up in my